What would a modern day prophet crying out in the wilderness look like today during this pandemic? Good morning. My name is Father Frank Buckley. I am the host of our morning meditation group and delighted to be here with you this morning. Today is going to be a great day. This is a three-part program. It always helps to do meditation to have a little inspiration. So the first third is always a little inspiration. The second part is really the heart, the meat of the whole program, which is the 20-minute silent meditation. And then the last part is the Ignatian Examine, where we reflect on where we might have missed God in our lives, or even more importantly, recently encountered uh, God in our everyday, ordinary, humdrum lives. So for this morning, my friend Susanna gave me a book that I am very much enjoying, and I think it has something to contribute to this conversation of what would a modern day prophet look like. She left us too soon, in my humble opinion, but Mother Teresa made such an impact on the world and was just simply indefatigable in the way she prioritized the poor and went into places in the world that no one else dared to go. So much she invented, she created a whole order. So I'm put my psychologist hat on for just a moment. We all need exemplars in this world to flourish. And really, I personally cannot think of a better exemplar to look towards during this pandemic than Mother Teresa. So I'd like to share with you just a couple paragraphs on Mother Teresa of Calcutta. Mother Teresa was like a prophet crying in the wilderness, revealing all at once my poverty, my wretchedness, and my possibilities. Abram Eshel once wrote that true prophets of God ceaselessly shatter indifference. Let me read that one more time. True prophets of God ceaselessly shatter indifference. He believed they revealed the very heart of God, imploring us to return to Him in a world that is not so much devoid of meaning as deaf to meaning. That was Mother Teresa's life. To see her and the missionaries of charity serving the poor and living among them simultaneously shatters our indifference to God and humanity. Critiques our privilege, disturbs our comfort. This was not what she consciously set out to do. As Heschel points out, prophets are often reluctant messengers that simply allow God to speak through them. All prophets and apostles suffer, and Mother Teresa was not immune to this. She said our suffering was nothing compared to Jesus, who suffered the ultimate sacrifice to achieve our freedom. The supreme injustice is that the perfect man God was crucified to redeem the world. In this book, I am not trying to convince anyone that Mother Teresa or the missionaries are perfect. I am certain they have bad days, though never a bad hair day. She said herself that the greatest hindrance to their work was that they were not yet saints, not fully able to spread the full love of Christ because of their human weaknesses. Neither is this a biography. Others more capable have written those. Since I cannot write about Mother Teresa from a secular point of view without distorting who she was in Christ, I will leave it to the readers of other religious or secular faiths to translate the stories for themselves. This, then, is the simple story of my brief encounter with Mother Teresa and the missionaries of charity, and of my struggles then and now to understand, and more importantly, even to live by, the lessons of our culture and times. It is an ongoing tale of how I listened to God through her life and through the lives of others who graciously serve as guides to me. It is the story of how God used her and the missionaries to cause a crisis in my own life, which reveal more clearly my purpose and my calling. Mother called it Finding Your Calcutta. Thank you, Mary Poplin, for that little inspiration this morning. And I believe with all my heart that one of the ways we each find our own Calcutta is by slowing the train down, turning the gaze inwards, embracing a morning practice, and trusting that through this morning practice, through this contemplative meditation, God definitely will not disappoint. So without further ado, let's get to it. I invite you wherever you are, on the streets of Hollywood, in your homes, out in nature, in a tent, to just find a comfortable place to sit down and rest. To unplug from all technology, I will set the timer for 20 minutes. Sorry, we had our first flourishing recovery group. We meditated for 4 minutes. You would think something went wrong if the bell went off. Here we go. 20 minutes. So I'll set the timer for 20 minutes. I'll ring the bell. As always, I'll do a little guided meditation to get us into it. And then we will simply enjoy the miracle of our breath, engaging our sacred word, and a little deep rest. Let's begin. Listen, listen, the sound of this bell brings us back to our true self. I invite you to lower the eyes or 3/4 closed. Just turn the gaze inwards in a way that feels safe. As always, we move into the parasympathetic nervous system with a little simple diaphragmatic breathing, which is nothing more than a fancy word for breathing deeply as possible into the lower belly 3 times. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Deep inhale, open mouth, exhale. Beautiful. 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. Last time. Give it all you got. Inhale and exhale. Bringing fresh oxygen to the brain for brain health and to the body. Continue to breathe on your own. Take the attention to the body. And we start with just a little grounding. Start with your feet. Feel the soles of your feet pressed onto the earth, our mother. And know that the earth may be trusted. We move up the body to the cushion or chair, providing support. And on a daily basis, we all need a little support in our lives. Let's reflect on an area where we felt a little or a lot of support recently. Lengthen the spine just a little bit. Healthy spine, healthy body. Relax the shoulders. Anything you've been holding on to, just surrender, let go. Let it slide off the shoulders and let the Mother Earth absorb it. She's certainly big enough to carry all of it. Take the attention to the heart. You're welcome to place both your hands wherever you find your heart in your body. And let's take the attention to something that brings us a little joy in our life and just name it in one word. And together as one giant community, let's breathe one time into that joy. Inhale and exhale. You can release the hands and just notice what you feel. Finally, we arrive at the forehead, the seat of intuition, that place that never lies, and we just focus on an intention for today. Saint Ignatius invites us to focus on something we deeply desire in this moment, not being afraid to ask God for something really great this morning. And we'll seal that intention by the inhale and exhale. Take the attention to the breath. Engage your sacred word. Repeat it 4 or 5 times. Then drop down and just enjoy a little deep rest. Please continue. Gently bring your attention back to the room. If your eyes were closed, go ahead, open the eyes, circle the wrists one way, then the other. A little movement in the shoulders. Rub the hands together, bringing a little oxytocin, the love hormone, into the body. And then whatever slid off your shoulders, just shake it out. Let it go. Wonderful. Great job, everyone. Happy Wednesday. We'll move into the third part of the program, the little Jesuit examine. And we just really look at where God came alive for us, where we experienced a little love in our lives recently. And feel free, one of the really most important parts of our morning is building a little community. So drop a little something in the Facebook box about where God came alive for you. Um, for me, it was a pretty easy examine this morning because my brain clicked right into yesterday at 11. I'm so happy to announce that we had our first Flourishing in Recovery group on the patio for people who are living on the streets struggling with addiction. And we did physically distancing. Everyone from the streets wore their masks and practice a little social connection. So we had it's been months. So it was the first time, and the patio was if you've never been to the center, it's a former Immaculate Heart convent. And the garden is absolutely beautiful with Italian olive trees and nature and just a little taste of paradise in the heart of Hollywood. And we went from 11 to 12 and we did evidence-based practices for flourishing uh, and did a little social connection, read a little excerpt from the big book, and we had about, wow, close to 15 people who are unhoused show up, who are literally living on the streets right now, have still not been able to secure housing even in the middle of a pandemic. And a couple who have recently were able to get housing or living in temporary housing and able to come. So you can only imagine it was like a dream come true. It was real. I've been doing groups here for 6 years, and it was really one of the most engaging, exciting groups I've ever done. It felt as if you could scoop God right out of the air on that patio. And then it ended. The staff made a delicious iced green tea that got passed around, and it was yeah, perfect way to end, and then a little snack. You could either pick. I'm not sure how nutrition this was. I have an area for growth maybe, but Cheetos or pretzels. Because I just read about how bad red dye number 5 is, I chose the pretzels, which were delicious. Okay, sorry. So that was one. Second, let's give a shout out to Brother Henry and the volunteers. Week 2 of the food pantry on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood. Tons of parishioners, tons of volunteers, tons of high school kids helping pass out fresh fruits and vegetables, apples, peaches, bread from Trader Joe's. It was Brother Henry, you outdid yourself. We doubled the number of people from last week, so it's picking up. And then the third thing, back to our inspiration from this morning, we definitely all need exemplars during a pandemic. And Mother Teresa has always held a very special, special spot in my heart. And just to read about her and her courageous, compassionate work she did for a broken world, I found so inspirational, and I'm certain many of you did as well. So that concludes our morning practice. Again, let's continue to build this community, spread the words to your friends. I'm going to post it on my own page on Facebook, I think it's the best community in Hollywood, and none of us can do it without each other. It takes a village. So thank you for committing. Thank you for your courageous effort to simply sit down and turn the first hour of the day over to God. I personally can't think of anything more beautiful. Have a great rest of your day, and God bless you.